whole time.
Hello, and welcome to Performers on Performing. I'm Aaron Tornberg, and this is One Broadway Collaborative. We're a nonprofit arts organization in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and today I have the privilege of interviewing a really fantastic musician from Worcester, Mass. His name is, Morning Sun.
Yes.
Do you go by your name as well?
You know, you can call me Peter, but my artist name is Morning Sun, and that's Morning S-O-N.
Right.
Not S-U-N.
Yes.
Just so people know. But
Morning
yes.
S-O-N. Yes.
But yes, Peter Lesperance is my name.
And Peter Lesperance is going to be here with two other performers pretty soon.
Yeah, in a couple Thursdays.
June 6th. So that's when he's going to be doing. So we're going to put this up quickly, I hope, and we'll be able to promote the show. And you guys can come see him in person with, who else are you going to be with?
So Dom the Composer is a really cool piano R&B artist from, he's actually from Lowell, I believe, and but he plays a lot in Boston and New York and whatnot. And he's being accompanied, we're also going to be accompanied, last minute we threw in his friend Jordan, it's spelled with a Y, Jordyn. She's a young, up-and-coming singer-songwriter and like R&B artist who's located in D.C. right now, but she's originally from this area. So I'm excited to meet her for the first time and get to hear her play as well.
Great. Well, so tell us about yourself a little bit. So you grew up in Worcester?
I grew up outside of Worcester in Millbury, Massachusetts. It's a small little suburban town. My family, the Lesperances, are very musical people. You know, my brother and my sister-in-law, Ash and Eric. Mm-hmm. So, I always grew up around music. My father plays music in churches and whatnot, and my mother's always been a singer. Actually, my parents used to be in a folk band back in the 70s and 80s called God's Promises. It was like a Christian folk band. It's kind of neat. But yeah, so I started playing trumpet when I was in elementary school, and then later on in high school I picked up the guitar, started writing music around the time when I was going to college, and a few years ago I released my first EP called Nature, produced by my brother Eric, and I've been ever since the pandemic I've been kind of slowly working my way up as an artist and recording more music and performing around the Worcester area and Boston a little bit. So it's kind of my story in a nutshell.
So you haven't recorded an album to date, or you have?
So I have an EP out there, and I have 2 singles so far.
Okay.
I released a single last year that I produced with my brother called Tired Empire, and it was kind of a departure in genre because it was more of like a folk punk rock kind of sound. I could actually play that tune for you. But and then this last October on my 30th birthday, I decided I wanted to start recording myself. So I got some equipment cheap and just started recording, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with how everything was going. So I ended up working with Mixcave Mastering. I think they're out of Virginia, and they helped me mix and master a song called Sorrento, which I just released in February.
Okay. So you came from a musical family and played trumpet. Where did the guitar come in? You just started picking it up after that?
Well, I actually started playing bass when I was in church growing up, in the band. And I always loved bass, but I wanted to be able to write my own music. I was really inspired by artists like Sufjan Stevens is one of my favorites. And I just wanted to start composing my own music and writing my own music. I knew it was in me, but the guitar was a way to get the progressions out there and put the chords and the harmonies together to create that kind of emotional experience with music.
So, what's your performing background? How did you start performing besides church, like after church?
I would perform in like concert band and jazz band in middle school all the way through high school, and I used to also do musicals, singing and acting, and that was a lot of fun. It was great for performance, and as well as like percussion ensemble. We had a lot of great opportunities in marching band in high school. So that was one great thing that I got out of public school was, we had a lot of great opportunities to play music and perform. And I took what's the phrase? I made the most of it, and then in high school and college, I also performed in an a cappella group called the Worcester State Chorale, and we traveled to different countries too and singing, and that was a really neat experience. It wasn't until college actually, that I started taking lessons, and that really skyrocketed my guitar playing. I took classical guitar lessons, and I took some trumpet lessons just to dust the rust off. But yeah, so after the pandemic, my friends and I have a band called the Big League Collective. We're kind of an Americana trio, and we've been performing a lot since 2021, and that's really helped me personally as an artist as well.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we hear something now? What do you want to play for us?
Well, I guess I can play you my most recent release.
Okay.
Back in February, my first self-produced song called Sorrento, and the neat thing about this, it was based off of a trip I took a little over 10 years ago with the Worcester State Chorale that I mentioned. We were singing all around Rome, and then we went down to the Amalfi Coast, and particularly Sorrento was just such a beautiful little town or city right on the coast, and just it was just so the song is kind of a reflection on that time, the experiences there, and you can really hear it in the imagery and the lyrics and whatnot. So here's Sorrento.
Okay.
You can do it if you want. See, lemon trees don't grow where I'm from. There's a hill across the bay where ages ago several people died Pompeii. Then the sun came down like a host, like a messenger in the Amalfi Coast. Was that you? Was that you? Was that you? Was that you? Sorrento saved my soul. See, up till now, I've been out of control. Let your waters heal my skin. Your mountain peaks shield me from the wind. Turn the sea to glass, the mountains into gold. I'm suffering the view, but beauty never told. You're a mirror in the sky, reflecting in my eyes, reflecting who you are, reflecting who I am. And then the sun came down like a host, like a messenger in the mouthy coast. That was you, that was you. 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 There's no way, there's no 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 you. Thank you kindly.
So that must have been quite a trip going to Rome. So what did you do there besides sing?
Well, we did a lot of sightseeing in Rome for sure. We visited the Colosseum. We went to the Vatican one day, and this is like back when Pope Francis was like really early in his papacy. So that was really neat. And then so we spent a few nights there, and then we drove like 3 hours down to the coast. And that was incredibly beautiful. Oh my goodness. And what I mentioned about in the song about lemon trees, it's true. It's just like, I was in awe. I've never seen so many lemon trees. It was so cool. But yeah, the last morning we were there, I had stayed up all night because I was like just young and excited and wanted to soak everything up. And when I woke up, the sun was it made like this golden sheen on the mountains and the crystal clear water, and that imagery really just stuck with me. Especially visiting like the Amalfi Coast was beautiful too. It's just like, yeah. So everywhere we went, we sang. It was cool. We sang in the Colosseum, we sang in the ruins, we sang in little towns on the coast, and we sang in churches. We had like scheduled performances, but the fun thing about being a cappella is you can just, hey, let's sing here, you know?
Right.
And people loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. That sounds like a great trip.
Oh, yeah.
So when you do music and you want to write a song, so let's say that obviously was a clear inspiration.
Yeah.
How do you usually get into your songwriting?
You know, for me, it's very meditative, for sure. A lot of times a song will just hit me out of nowhere. Like that one in particular, I hadn't really written many songs at that point. I was pretty young, and I was still new at guitar too. So I think just coming back, I was so full of inspiration after that trip that it was just like inevitable that it was just like an overflow. So I took advantage of those moments because I'm like, this is what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to write music. So I think like the desire was there, and then it's just a matter of like manifesting it in some way, you know. It seems like that's, if you really want it, then you can make it happen. I mean, I don't know if there's really a formula to it, but for me, it's usually the chords and the melody come first, and then I find lyrics to fit in to that.
Mm-hmm. So do you usually just sit around playing in order to get inspired?
A lot of times, yeah. And I find, especially in the morning, if it's early in the morning, and I'm not lately, but like, especially, there's a few songs that I've written that have really, I was just like, where did that come from? And it's just, there's something about when you just woke up, maybe it's like all the chemicals in your head after dreaming, you know? I don't know, they say like you have DMT in your head when you're dreaming. I don't know if that's true. But yeah, waking up early in the morning, you know, depending on the season too, if it's nice and warm out, and just like playing, and sometimes there's one song, I'll probably play it for you. I literally, the beginning lines came to me as I was just walking across the kitchen. I was like, heavy words, tired heart. Pressing Pain, Precious Art, something like that. It was like, and then I was like, I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
That's the key. Write it down right away. There's definitely been a lot of cool chord progressions and melodies that have been lost because I didn't write them down or record them right away.
Right.
But having phones, that's an amazing gift because we're able to just make a voice memo real quick.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a contemplative practice or like a spiritual practice because I'm always thinking, what is this? I'm always ready for inspiration to hit me, but you have to be like aware. You have to be almost like attentive to the moment when it comes.
Do you keep a little notebook with you in case?
Not usually. I have like notes in my phone.
Okay.
So like I'll open up the notes. I do a lot. I'm not great at writing. Never been great at handwriting. So like I'll even do like talk to text, like,
Right.
hit the button and start talking to it.
Sitting in your car and you just...
Yeah, sometimes I'm literally driving and an idea comes to my mind and I'll record it. Most of the time it doesn't go anywhere, but 1 out of 10 times you'll get a really good song out of it.
So what experiences have you had performing where you've really just blown everybody away? Like how did that go?
I think I've had some really good times at like So Far shows.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, what's really nice about those is that as much as like, it's like a love-hate relationship with them because obviously like you kind of feel like you're being used by this company that's, they pay you a little bit here and,
Well, So Far is the company
yeah.
that puts on, I guess, house concerts mostly.
Yeah, house concerts or just in random venues. But I will say that my best experience have been in Boston because they always get a lot of people out there and everybody's listening and it's always really neat. So I think those kind of experiences, my first one was at the Omni Hotel in Seaport District and we were on like the 5th floor. And it was just like a really intimate room of like 40 people just looking at you and listening. And that was really wonderful to experience. And there's one song I do that I'm actually we're recording with Big League Collective called Blue Mountain Mistress, and I have a trumpet solo. So I've been messing around this past year with using a loop pedal. So I'll lay down the loop and then I'll play trumpet solo over it, and people always love that. There's this other song I performed called Holy Ground, and that was an example of one where I woke up early in the morning, I was sitting out on my porch, and all of a sudden it just hit me. I was like, oh, man, dang, that was such a good song. And that one people really enjoy. And one thing I do have to say about So Far is every once in a while they'll like record a performance for you. And this one performance came out really good. I'm really impressed with it. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube if you look up Morning Sun, Holy Ground. But yeah, so those kind of shows have been awesome. There's a spot in Worcester called the Hotel Vernon, and that place just has like a lot of history and good energy to it that I always love performing there. No matter who I'm playing with, it's always a good time.
Well, you haven't played at One Broadway yet.
Yeah,
so
that's right. I'm really excited for that.
Then you'll have the history.
Exactly.
So when you play, do you usually you book your own gigs, or do you have a manager? How do you usually do it?
I'm just an independent artist, I do a lot of... It's actually been like the past year or so that I've been doing a lot more solo performance, and it's mostly because, my music's different than the music that I play with my band a little bit. Some of it overlaps, but also I think I feel like I believe in myself enough to like just put myself out there and go with it, So yeah, I send emails out, I reach out to people and make good relationships and connections with different restaurants or breweries or venues around, and it's been pretty positive.
That's great.
Like even this, it's kind of funny. I happened to be going on Nick Noble's show on 90.5, and you were walking out, and I'm like, hey, I want to play in the North Shore. Anywhere good you can play? Well, here's my card.
Yeah. Well, Nick Noble's show is called the Folk Revival.
That's right. Yep.
And I've been on there a number of times. He's very supportive of One Broadway and what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy, and his show is on every Thursday at 7, I believe.
Yeah.
On the radio, but it's also online at WICN.
That's right. Check that out.
It is a cool show, and I've been on there a number of times with somebody I play with here, Taina, and it's been she and I were on recently, actually.
That's awesome.
With AJ Kiernan, who's from your area, kind of.
Oh, really?
She also is very involved with NERFA.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be going to.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet a lot of neat people.
So NERFA is the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance, and I have a bunch of videos from last year's shows that we did there. There different artists came and performed at a virtual One Broadway because we were in a hotel room. It wasn't actually the space, but it was sort of shopping around for artists at NERFA, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So what else do you do besides music?
Well, I've got a wife and 2 kids. I have 2 daughters named Ruth and Brooklyn. Ruth is 3 years old. Brooklyn is 6. So they take up a lot of my time, but I'm really lucky that I work in the public schools as a speech pathologist, and I have a really great schedule. So I get out at 2 p.m. and then, get home, have to pick up my daughter Ruth from my mom's house, and then I get Brooklyn off the bus at 3:30, and then, it's just playing with them, making sure they're okay, the whole bedtime routine. So that takes up a lot of my evening. But then oftentimes after they go to bed, I'll go out and play somewhere or go check out a friend's show or something like that. It's kind of nice living right outside of Worcester. And other than that, honestly, lately music has been like my main hobby. I've been just like really focused on that.
Yeah, so you got a second song for us?
Yeah, sure. I'll play you that one I had mentioned. One that I released last year. It's called Tired Empire. I also think I get inspired by other artists, like other friend artists, and I have this one friend, Mike Coles. He has a band called Hippie Commune Pipe Dream, and he's like a kind of punk folk artist, which that kind of inspired this song, as I'm sure you'll be able to tell. This one's called Tired Empire, and basically it's about feeling frustrated with the way the world works, the world system, and there's this concept of like empire that's often talked about. How like in Star Wars, the Empire is the bad guy, right? It's always like these forces that are trying to kind of, suppress people, and just it never creates a world that's the world that we want. And that's kind of the tag of the line is, I'm looking for a place that's peaceful enough to lay down and be found. So I hope you enjoy. This is my folkified version of it. I'll just give it a quick tuning. And while I say that, I'll say that if you listen to the original, it was really fun to play with a drummer for that one. And I also got some local string players from Worcester Music Academy to play strings. So that was really neat. Heavy words, tired heart, crushing pain, precious art, needlepoint, paper's edge, magic ink, razor dead, 'cause everything's coming to a fast stop, everything's coming to a painful end. Oh, and we be tired of the scapegoat martyrdom, no black powder gun, tired empire's done. I'm looking for a place that's peaceful enough to lay it down. Fresh grass, light match, start again, don't quit, fire pit, email, hire quick, 'cause everything's coming to a fast stop, everything's coming to a painful end. Oh, and we be tired of the scapegoat martyrdom, no black powder gun, tired empire's done, looking for a place that's peaceful enough to lay down. found. Surrender, doors closed, way out. Hold your nose, crash down, run head, gunshots, powder keg, 'cause everything's coming to a fresh start. Everything's coming to a new beginning. Oh, when will we be tired of the scapegoat martyrdom? No black powder gun, tired of pirates done. Looking for a place that's peaceful enough to lay down, to be found. I'm looking lay down, to be found. Heavy words, tired heart, crushing pain, precious art, needle point, paper's edge, magic ink, raise the dead. Kind of.
Nice. So that one, that was inspired by what events?
So, I think it was just the place I was at in my life at the time. I was going through like a lot of, I guess what you call like deconstruction is kind of the phrase where you're really questioning a lot of preconceived notions about the world, and that's where I'm questioning the whole idea of empire and why our world functions like this, and also feeling that weight and the pressure,
What was it, from a specific thing that happened, or?
I think seeing what happened throughout the whole pandemic, and experiencing, starting to understand the need for justice and the need for a world that's for everyone, and also feeling that weight myself, like the pressures of being a young adult in this world and trying to figure out where I fit, and also just at the end of the day just wanting to lay down and be found, and so the phrase is called Tired Empire because it's like the way the world has worked up until now, it's tired, it's old, and kind of the hope for a future that's better.
So what are the ideas you have for making it better?
It's a great question. I guess everybody has different ideas about that. I mean, it seems like we're heading, in some ways, we're heading in good trajectories. My faith has played a big role in my life, and trying to understand like the intersection of faith and public life. It'll look like fair treatment of the poor, and a world that's where we don't profit from war, for sure. A war that we feel like that we actually invest in, people and caring people, loving people. A war where, yeah. So I mean, it definitely was a political song for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's bigger than that. It's philosophical. It's deeper, and I find a lot of my songs kind of transcend in that way, whether I like it or not,
Yeah. So, the stuff you're doing at school, I mean, you're doing a job that's really kind of helping people in general.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do other things with social action that sort of influences your music?
I think one big influence on me has during the pandemic. I had a friend who's kind of like a radical guy, a bunch of them, and they're involved with kind of like these radical Catholic groups. I don't know if you ever heard of the Catholic Worker.
I haven't.
But it was basically like an Catholic anarchist group that formed in the 30s. And in Worcester, there's a place called the Mustard Seed Soup Kitchen, And then one friend there, Mike Boover, he's in his 70s, and he's just like a soft, gentle guy. But if you really talk to him, he's pretty radical, you know. And I think that really influenced me a lot. But yeah, getting involved with that kind of stuff, helping out at the soup kitchen, and yeah, I'd like to devote more time to that kind of stuff, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hard because you got to make a living too.
Exactly, yeah.
But you know, you chose a career where you are doing.
It's true.
Good. So that's a good thing too.
I do work with a lot of low socioeconomic population, and a lot of my students are Hispanic and Black, and it's always nice to be able to connect with them. You know, I grew up in a very white town, you know, and that was pretty racist in a lot of ways.
Worcester is?
No, in Millbury.
Oh, Melbourne.
Not to diss Millbury too much, but it's a very white town. You know, it's a white suburban town. And
So I was going to say Worcester's not.
no, not Worcester.
Not really.
No, that's what I've always loved about Worcester is the diversity. You know, the culture, the food, the people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, Lawrence too. You should hang out here more.
I know. Lawrence is very similar to Worcester in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah, we got a lot of great stuff here. Great restaurants, great festivals.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. Good music.
Yeah, I noticed some beautiful cathedrals too.
Yeah,
coming down the main
there's
road.
a church just down the street.
Yeah.
The big Catholic one, and
Yeah,
there's several.
It's
Yeah.
huge. I was like, wow, that's ginormous.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I mean, Lawrence used to be a mill town,
Oh yeah,
and it used to be very busy. I
Mhm.
mean, it was a very upscale town, you know, but that was like 100 years ago.
yeah.
So we're trying to get it back to that point.
That's how
It's a nice
Worcester
town.
was too. In the main South used to be all like, you know, these Victorian homes that are now turned into triple deckers, and like Clark University, for example.
Mhm.
You know, Sigmund Freud used to go there. You know, it was a very ritzy area, but over time it kind of went down, for better for worse.
Yeah, but there's so many great things going on in Lawrence now.
Oh, yeah.
And in Worcester.
I'd love
I've
to check
seen
it out more.
A lot of stuff in Worcester musically, too, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. Worcester, it's funny. I should actually talk about this. I run a group called the Worcester Acoustic and Singer-Songwriter Acts. And if anybody's from the Central Mass area or beyond, we have people come all the way from Boston, people come from Western Mass, some from Connecticut, and we gather. Well, basically, it's a Facebook group, more or less. I'd like to expand it more. I'm actually working with someone for writing grants and whatnot, but it's basically a safe haven for singer-songwriters, because Worcester's music scene can be very like punk oriented, punk rock and whatnot. So we have like this network and this community that's been bubbling up over the past year, and it's been really beautiful to see. A lot like bands have formed out of this, and a lot of people who like were kind of dormant in their music are now like very active in the music scene. And what's funny about the pandemic is that it kind of it cleared the path, because a lot of artists that were active before either gave up or just like kind of retired, and now there's so much opportunity for newer artists, and that's been great to see.
Excuse me. You want to do another song?
Yeah, I'll do one more. Let's see. I have a album that I'm working on, and it's gonna be a 10-song album coming out in October. And one of the things I'm doing, I'm gonna be releasing a song on the weekend that I'm gonna be playing a show here. But I don't know. I'll play one from the new album.
And
This is a fun one.
When? June
6th.
So
Here
everybody
at
should
One
be
Broadway.
there. Right, everybody should come.
I'm going to spread the word. Hopefully we get some people out. This is a tune I wrote. It's kind of a fun, lighthearted tune called Getting Better. I wrote it trudging on. It seemed like it was getting better in like the summer of 2021, you know. So maybe that was like the hopeful feeling I was getting. But it's kind of a song about self-care and getting better. Maybe I'm just saying it until it happens, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta say it. Here it is. Buddy's drinking whiskey, stuck inside his home. And now he's drinking with me. It's better than drinking alone. He's getting better all the time. 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 Been eating too much fruitcake, forget what food tastes like. Brushing teeth with toothpaste, resting on the couch. I'm getting better all the time. 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 Watch TV on a weeknight, I'm getting to that age. Picked a book up Sunday, read another page. I'm getting better all the time. 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 Thank you kindly.
So, where do people find you online and all that stuff?
I'm probably most active on Instagram. If you look at morning.son.music.
Okay.
I got music on Spotify and YouTube. If you look up Morning SON, Morning Sun. I've got a Bandcamp as well.
Okay.
Bandcamp / Morning Sun Music or something like that. I don't know. If you look it up, Morning Sun Bandcamp, it's a great place if you want to purchase the music instead of streaming it for a fraction of a cent.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that's basically it. And then you can also check out my other band, the Big League Collective, like Big League Baseball. We're pretty active in Worcester area, and we'll be releasing some more music as well.
What do you play with the band?
We kind of switch off instruments. We all write our own songs. We bring them together, and so like different people will lead songs. So it's a hassle for sound guys because sometimes we're like, oh, so we're gonna kind of switch off on this instrument. So sometimes I'll play bass, acoustic, or electric, depending. Sometimes I'll play trumpet. You know, I do.
Right.
I've been getting back into trumpet, which has been nice.
That is good.
Yeah.
So, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this was fun.
Yeah.
Did you want to do one more song? Or?
I mean, I could, if you want to hear one.
Sure, if you want to do it.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. We'll close with one more song.
All right.
And just take us out.
Sure. I'll play one that I'm actually recording with the Big League Collective.
Okay.
It's called Blue Mountain Mistress, and this was inspired by a mountain up in New Hampshire called Mount Chicora that I wanted to hike for many years. And every time I went up there with the intention of hiking it, it was always shrouded in clouds and raining. So I jokingly said, like, to my wife, like a mistress, she eludes me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting by the lake looking at the mountain, and the words came to me. So hope you enjoy. It's called Blue Mountain Mistress. I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. Like a mistress, she eludes me on a precipice so high, wondering if she'll ever choose me. Will I see her when I die? I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. It's the way she wraps herself up in a nebulous disguise. I can't ever climb the mountain, no matter how hard I try. I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. Cue trumpet solo. Like a mystery, she eludes me on a precipice so high, wondering if she'll ever choose me. But will I see her when I die? It's the way she wraps herself up in a nebulous disguise. I can't ever climb that mountain, no matter how hard I try. Oh, and even if I make it up there, how will I know it's even me she's looking for? Still the journey's worth the effort, even if she's not the prize. I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. Oh, I want that blue lake, blue clouds, blue mountain mistress. Yeah, I want that blue lake, blue clouds. Ooh. Thank you very much.
Well, this was Morning Sun with an S-O-N, not
That's right.
S-U-N. Morning Sun, Peter Lesperance, and thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
And we will see him and two other performers, both Dom the composer and
Jordan.
Jordan.
Yep.
Okay, and Jordan. They will be here on June 6th, so everybody should come out. And I believe we're doing a 7 p.m. show. Is that what we said?
That sounds about right. Or
Yeah.
7 or 7:30. Maybe it's 7 doors. Yeah.
7 doors, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so on Thursday, June 6th, you should come out and hear them. It's going to be a
Absolutely.
great night. And keep an eye out on our website, onebroadway.org. That's onebroadway.org, so you can find out more information about other shows that are coming up. And this is Aaron Tornberg, and thanks for watching.
Doing it this whole time.